That's right, 98.9 Northwest FM. Hello, how are you going? You're listening to CarTorque on 98.9 Northwest FM, as I've just said. A show for motoring enthusiasts. So for the next hour, you'll be chilling with me, Matty J, as we talk cars and play some music. So glad you guys can join me tonight. So I've got two topics on tonight we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about hot hatchbacks, because one of my favourite genres of car. And we're going to also be talking about movie cars. What are our favourite movie cars? I'll be joined by Adam and James. They're car and movie guys. They're going to be talking about what they like and you know, basically what type of cars they have tickled their fancy throughout the years in the forms of hot hatchbacks and in movies. So I'll be joined by them shortly. But tell us what you think. Tell us what your favourites are by sending us a text on 0447 7778. Down. You're on 98.9 Northwest FM. You're speaking with Matt. I'm now in the studio with James and Adam. Say hi, boys.
How you going?
Good morning, Vietnam. Sorry, I always wanted to do that.
You can do it. It's my show. I don't mind. All good, guys. So tonight we're going to be talking about hot hatches and movie cars. But let's start by asking what you guys like. What are your dream cars and your car history, obviously. So we'll start off with you, James.
I'm not a particularly big car person. I'm more of a movie buff, which is why we're talking about movie cars later on. But my first car and only car so far has been Mazda 323 Estina.
That's right, the Maserati.
I call it Emerald. It's green, but I call it Emerald. Emerald Edith.
Emerald Edith.
That's her name.
Can I interrupt for a sec?
Yeah.
Can you tell us the history of the car?
I'm not sure how many owners it's had.
But one of them?
But it used to be my sister's car, and she treated it so poorly. It smells like cigarettes. It has cigarette burns in the seats. There's just pieces falling off it. It's kind of lopsided. It leans to the left. It leaks rainwater, so it's been raining a lot lately, so I'm basically driving a pool. But otherwise, it's a good first car for me. I can scratch it, I can beat it up a bit, and it doesn't really matter.
That's it, man. It's the first car.
And it's a hot hatch.
That's it. Hatchback,
well,
man.
It's a hatch, at least.
Dream car.
Probably all-time biggest dream car would probably be Aston Martin DB5.
Yeah.
Just because of James Bond.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have it. I wouldn't even like to drive it. I'd just like to have it in my garage, leave it in there. And then I'd get a DB9 to put next to it. Just so I can have the history of...
The matching pair.
The pair. And then I probably just wouldn't touch them. I just like to look at them and maybe shine them with a rag or something, a chamois.
Shabby. Adam, your car history.
My car history. So my first car?
First car.
Alrighty. So I've had the same car for about 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
Astra SRI.
Yeah, 2.2.
2.2 litre. Goes all right.
Yeah.
Goes all right for a 2.2 litre. Small car, two-door. Yeah, it goes good. So, that's my first car.
Yep.
Bought it before I got my Ps. I waited about 8 months before I could drive it legally. And, still got it. Still goes good.
That's it.
As you know.
It does go very well. I had the unfortunate of losing against it.
A couple of times. Down the Calder Straight.
down Calder's Quarter Park. Well, I'll have to put that on the page and show my misery. Your dream car ads.
There's too many to name.
Too many to name,
but if I had to name one now, as we're talking before, Ferrari F40.
F40. Can't go wrong. That's the ultimate supercar. Like the best supercar ever. Many regard it as the best supercar ever.
And as I've been told, there's actually a few in Victoria.
Yeah. There is, yeah.
So, pretty cool.
Hard to track down. Look, we're going to go to a break. Once we get back, we're going to be talking about movie cars. So, any movie in particular that you guys fancy that you guys like a car from?
There's no ultimate movie other than Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, it's got a lot of cars in there.
Look, it almost trumps Fast and Furious because of the variety of cars, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But, that's a pretty good movie.
The list is endless, from Fast and Furious to Bullet to Vanishing Point. I mean, we can talk for ages, so when we come back, we'll
talk. But... All right, anyway, you're on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is Matty J. You're on CarTorque. Time is now 7:12, and we're going to go to a song. Well, we're back. So, I'm back with Adam and James. We're going to be talking about movie cars first. So, movie cars, guys. To me, movie cars make the movie. Like they're the untold hero of a movie.
Yeah, they're characters in themselves. People remember them fondly more than a lot of other aspects than the movie.
They've got a personality of themselves. Let's look at Knight Rider.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true.
Even when they don't talk, they have like the the Ghostbusters car. Like that has its own sound, its own look, its own character. So, and that doesn't have a voice. So, that's a good example of a great movie car. And it's not one like that, a car chase movie or anything like that. So.
It was just its own. It was just its own character inside a movie,
exactly.
and that's the best thing about cars, because for non-car people, they can still relate to cars in movies, and like the Ghostbusters car, it doesn't do anything special. It's just it's there, and everyone you think of Ghostbusters, you think straight away, you think the car.
Yeah, my relationship with cars is through movies because I'm such a big movie fan, and I'm not majorly knowledgeable about cars. So everything I know about cars comes from Fast and Furious when that movie came out, and everyone at school wanted a Supra. That's how I learned about tuners and turbos and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, that's a hero car of the movie, right?
It is.
Let's say the Supra.
Yep.
The Charger.
Yep.
The Ghostbusters car.
Yep.
They're hero cars of the movie. So every movie's got a hero car, I guess.
Definitely, and like with the first Fast and Furious movie, you could say there'd be a few, but to me, the ultimate car was the Supra. Was Brian's Supra in that, and it's today still a classic. Like people love Supras all over, not just for the 2JZ, but just because people didn't know what a Supra was until that movie. So and that's what movie cars can do. They can create a persona, they can create a sense of attraction to the movie.
That's the other thing. As much as movies like Fast and Furious were created based on a style, they also invented their own style. So after that movie, everyone bought a Supra, everyone bought a Civic.
Everyone put neons on them.
Everyone put neons. Everyone bought turbos. So the movie, while based on reality, also art influences reality, and reality influences art. So, they're important pieces of car history.
They are. All right. Well, let's go through a bit of a list. I've written the list down here. Obviously, we've just talked about the Supra, the original minis from the original Italian Job. Classics
cool.
in itself. Like, you think Italian Job, you think of those Mini Cooper S's, and you think how cool they were.
As soon as you watch that movie, you want to go out and buy one.
Yeah,
especially the new one. Yeah. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
You watch that movie, go, I want a Mini. I want a supercharged Mini. That's it, straight out.
It's they're like selling the car. It's selling the movie, selling the car every time you think about it. Like crap, I gotta buy one of these things.
I was always fond of Mr. Bean's Mini.
Yes.
When it got crushed by a tank.
That was heartbreaking.
It was literally the saddest moment in children's television history.
Yeah. And then he got the lock and he opened the
and then he takes the lock and keeps it with all these other memorabilia as like a relic of memories.
That was super sad. But again, that's everyone loves a Mini because of that. Like, it's hard not to love a Mini. Two Gran Torinos from one, obviously the movie Gran Torino, but the better known one, I'd say, would be from Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
that's a cool car,
especially since we've got the TV show and the movie.
Yes.
So it's like two generations kind of fell in love with that car.
Yeah.
It's a cool looking car.
It is a cool looking car.
And when they ruin it at the end, they jump it into the sea.
You see the chassis bed?
And the old school Starsky and Hutch comes out in the car. That's mad. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's we're not just saying movie cars. We're saying like cars in TV anyway, or it's TV, cinema, anything. But that's a classic, and a lot of people can relate to Starsky and Hutch through that car. Yeah. They're like, that car, the Gran Torino, that's and that's what brings them together. Obviously, we're talking about Bullet Mustang. We were talking about that before. Like, you know, from obviously still one of the Steve McQueen's most famous movies, Bullet.
Yeah, definitely.
Just the car chase was just epic in it. But Gone in 60 Seconds, as you referred to before, Adam.
GT500.
Eleanor, that's correct. Yeah, but like Eleanor was also different in the first Gone in 60 Seconds.
I like the original Eleanor more.
Yeah.
In all honesty, the second Eleanor in the new movie, it's overhyped. It's not. It's a nice car. Don't get me wrong, but it's not great. It's not the greatest car. So I'm probably making a lot of people angry, but it's.
Do you agree with Adam? Send him in on a text line 0447 777 989. Just let us know what you think. Well, that's enough on my list. What about you? What about anything from you guys?
Probably from one of my favorite movies, Mad Max 2, the Police Interceptor,
yeah.
the last of the V8. I mean, that's like creates its own legend around itself. I mean, it's from the first movie as well, but in the second movie, it's got all these like modifications, like do-it-yourself modifications, like gas tank and booby traps and all this really cool stuff.
It becomes badass, man.
Yeah, and it's just like it's its own world in itself. Like it creates its own history and its own mythology. So I mean, that's one of my favorite and so cool. From such a great movie.
Couldn't agree more. Like the whole Mad Max, the movies for him is just like everyone, as I said, like with the minis and that, everyone thinks about the car. That's the first thing they think about.
The car's as much a part of it as anything else.
Yeah,
but it's also the ones you miss as well.
Yeah,
Gone in 60 Seconds again. We're probably killing a bit too much, but that movie there, they steal Ferraris from a warehouse, and in the background is an F40, my favorite car. They don't steal it.
They
take every other Ferrari.
Do they mention that in the movie, or
they don't mention it? You just see it sitting there in the background, right near the door.
Maybe they're keeping it for the sequel.
Maybe they're leaving that one for me. Maybe
Gone in 70 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. They're a bit older, a bit slow.
Yeah.
But yeah, the F40 again. We're talking of favourite cars. I was speaking with James from Established last week about it. F40 came up was first car I said. It's one of those cars that just everyone unanimously loves. Ultimate supercar. But yeah, I do remember that scene in Gone in 60 Seconds, and I'm just like, why take the other ones? You take the best one. It's pointless. What else from you? What else from you guys? Any cars in particular?
One car that just clicked into my mind was Bad Boys 1.
Yeah,
the Porsche.
Yeah.
I believe that's a turbo.
It's a 911 turbo. Yeah,
air-cooled.
The last of the
turbo,
air-cooled. Yeah.
So that is a pretty cool car. It's nothing fancy, but it's a pretty cool car. I mean, maybe that movie sold it, but it looks cool.
No, it's
looks, sounds, goes pretty.
And
cool.
they go very well.
Yeah.
That's another classic. That's an awesome car. That's the last of the air-cooled ones, which is even better. Probably haven't seen this one, but I know James has. Motorway, the S15 in it, the Silvia.
Oh yeah.
That
Motorway, just to interject, Motorway is a really good movie that not a lot of people have seen. It's a Hong Kong car chase movie that I recommend. It's got really good cinematography, really well shot car chases.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going down that path, what about the Torino?
Yeah, from Initial D.
Yep.
That's the A86 is spot on. Like that should be the first on my list. I completely forgot about that one. But the AA86. Like, to be honest with you, it's nothing special.
No, but it's a sushi delivery car.
It's tofu delivery.
Tofu.
It's one of those strange things that's beautiful because it's ugly.
Yeah,
I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah, no, could not agree with you more. It's it's a great car in its own right. But it's also a car that's, it wasn't anything special, but the reason why people love it is the underdog. It was the underdog hero. It was beating GDRs, it was beating RX-7s.
Still went sideways.
and it went sideways easy.
That's what kind of JDM culture is about as well. It's like taking a regular, ordinary hatchback or family car and turning into a drift machine.
Yeah. And that was the best part about Initial D, because, it was just like this, like, 80s crap box was beating everything, and they're just like, well, what the hell? But that's what made that car so special as well. And also it came with a pretty famous engine, the 4AGE, which we know is pretty tunable and came in a wide variety of cars and different tunes, and like they had different heads on them. Like there was a 20 valve later on. But the A86 that was a good pickup, Adam. Glad you put that one up. Anything else we got, guys, or we think we've covered all the list for them?
We
we could go on
yeah.
forever and ever. I mean, DeLorean.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's a huge
Can't
one.
forget about that one.
Yeah, that's one of the big ones. And I think similarly to Mad Max, when the DeLorean goes from the first movie to the second movie to the third movie, it changes each
Evolves.
time. You know,
Changes configuration to adapt, though.
but like Doc adds different things. Like in the second movie, he adds the trash,
Mr. Fusion.
Yeah, Mr. Fusion. That's right. And then in the third movie, they add like all these old like steampunk kind of bits and pieces to get it running, and it just creates its own history, and it looks so cool. Each iteration it gets.
Yeah. Another car from that movie is the Hilux. The
Oh,
black
yeah,
Hilux.
the black one.
That's a cool
That's
car.
epic. I love
is
that.
the
I used
coolest
to
looking
have a
Hilux.
little Hot Wheels version of that car, and I used to love it just as much as my Hot Wheels DeLorean. They're really cool.
And then again, that was almost the hero car in that movie as well, because they did have it up on that podium. It was something he could win, and Marty dreamed about it that whole time, and then he got it. And right at the end, that was the last car you sort of see before the DeLorean. Well, was that before or after the DeLorean?
I think
got
you said the
destroyed?
DeLorean right at the end, like take off. That was like the last bit.
That was the last
DeLorean
iteration
gets
of that
destroyed,
DeLorean. Yeah.
And then
true.
the train comes. But yeah, he's driving the
Hilux, yeah,
at the end.
before after it gets destroyed. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's a good pickup. I completely forgot about that one. All right, well, we'll move on a bit because we could be talking movie cars for hours. And let's be honest, we've only got half an hour to go. But hot hatchbacks. Now, these are my favorite genre of cars. One, because they're practical. Two, because they're a simple car, but they can do everything, and they're fast, they're agile. You can pack your luggage and whatever you need in there, and they're just fun to drive. Like don't get me wrong, 1,000 horsepower Supras, this, that, and the other. Yeah, they build crazy numbers, but on a practicality, sorry, I'll say it again, losing my voice. Practicality level, hot hatchback is pretty hard to beat. I've got a hot hatch. Adam's got a hot hatch. James has got a hot hatch.
Well, I have a hatch.
He's got a hatch.
Actually, minus the hot.
Yeah, just minus the hot. Yeah, that's a fair call. But the reason why I bought a hot hatch over like all the boys buying Commodores and Falcons back in the day, which like especially in high school, was just because they're more fun and like they're cheaper to run and they're practical.
Your first car wasn't a hot hatch. I mean,
My first car wasn't a
It
hot
wasn't
hatch.
even a hatch, was it?
Oh, you could. Yeah, it was a liftback.
Liftback.
It was a
that's
liftback.
right. Yeah, liftback laser.
Yeah, but still, they kind of classify them as a hatch.
You stayed true to the laser.
I have. I've currently got an SR2, which is not a super hot. It's more of a warm hatch, but it was like Ford's last venture for the laser. Which, to be honest with you, the laser was a great car.
It's pretty cool. Like, and you say, oh, it's a mild. It's not. It's warm. It's not hot.
Yep.
But do you remember the commercial?
I do remember it was seriously hot. They said it was.
And it had all the sprinklers going off, going through the car park. That it made it out to be a hot hatch.
And and at the end of the day, it played the facade pretty well. It's still a great car. It's fun to drive. It's relatively quick. It's something super special. But if we're talking super special lasers, we're going to be talking about the TX3 Turbo all-wheel drive. Even the standard TX3 Turbo with the front-wheel drive was still a quick car, but the all-wheel drive made them something really special.
Yeah, and you could lock the diffs on the hatchbacks as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could do that, and then you could raise and lower the suspension,
electronic,
which was all electronic. That was on the early one, the KE.
Yeah.
But classic car, awesome hot hatchback. You've got obviously the SRI,
The
2.2.
SRI, so the 2.2. It's like I said, nothing special, but like there was the turbo model, which came with the 2-litre. That had, I think, like 147 kilowatts, something like that. Mine's only got 110. It still goes good. Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad for a little car, man. But it's practical, yes and no. Like, it's 2 doors. So 2 doors, not that much access into the back. So if you had to chuck stuff in the back seat, it's not that practical. But it does have a decent boot, so...
Fold the seats down.
Fold the seats down. Pretty big then.
That's it. We got a text, actually, from Luca. He says, HSV Astra. Since we're on the topic of Astras.
Yeah, HSV Astra. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They are cool.
Pretty punchy. They look different to the... Oh, well, then again, they're only released in the AH shape.
Yeah,
so mine's a TS or G, whatever you want to call it. And the version above that is the H or the AH. which is, I think, 05 onwards, 06 onwards.
It was like 04, wasn't it? They switched over?
Yeah, mine's like a crossover between the new version and the old version. So, but yeah, it started about 04, 05. The HSV Astra was it was something special. You know, HSV never went to four pots, so
Yeah.
4 cylinders. So it was pretty cool. Pretty good venture, but didn't last too long. Then Opel's come about and they've adapted. They've actually released it as the Opel VXR OPC. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool little car. Just the dash is a little bit busy. That's what annoys me about that car. But it's still got a lot of power. 20-inch rims. It's pretty cool.
They fly, man. They absolutely go good. But like on the top, you have like dashboards. Most of the modern hot hatches have just got crap everywhere. It's like
what
the
is it?
Fiesta. Like the Fiesta's simple, but the Focus ST has just got a bazillion buttons in the center stack, and
That's
it's just
what
like
they've fixed in the new model, plus the biggest touchscreen as well. Yeah. But if you want to talk about funny stuff, funny electronics, what was it? The Citroen or one of the cars, you could adjust the volume of the stereo, like it would make different sounds, like a GTR.
The Clio RS, the latest Clio RS.
Yeah.
You can make it sound like a GTR, make it sound like a Renault Alpine.
So just in case you couldn't afford the GTR, you got a Renault that can make the same sound.
Exactly right. It's a cool feature, but at the same time, it takes a kind of bit of away from what a hot hatch is.
Yeah,
and a hot hatch is like supposed to be very simple but practical and just work. And that's why I think Ford. I'm not getting on Ford's bandwagon here, but Ford's stuck with the hot hatchbacks for a long time, and they've gotten it right. Like we're talking,
for the price, you're on the right path there. For the price, Ford's got it right, spot on. But you can't go past the Renault Megans. They're powerful.
They are very good.
I think they're RS or something along those lines.
275s and all that.
They're nuts.
They are nuts. I think they still hold the record at the Nürburgring, or they might have been taken over by the latest Civic Type R, the turbo one. But back on Fords, we said about the TX3 Turbo, which is really just a familiar all-wheel drive, in the Mazda, it's a thing. But if we're talking proper Fords, Escort RS Cosworth, which was based on the Sierra chassis, but now gained all-wheel drive. Rally Legend, that Cosworth engine really made that car come alive.
An all-time favourite car in Need for Speed, I believe.
It is. And even Jeremy Clarkson had two of them as well. They just proved how good that car was. It's a blue collar hero. They call that car. Not cheap to buy anymore. Like they weren't cheap when they were new actually, but hard
to find too.
Very hard to find. Like they weren't released here, but there's a few around.
We did see one in person at Small Fords.
They're not a big car.
No, they're very small.
They're very small. Like there was parked next to my car actually, and in regards to the Laser, it was pretty much the same size.
Yeah.
But they are fat. They got big guards and they look good. Staying with Ford, probably my last Ford of the list, the Fiesta ST. I've driven one. Fantastic on the road. Just a cracking car to drive. Obviously, big news with the RS coming.
I saw one. Yeah, saw one the other day. Yeah, saw one the other day. Tullamarine. Driving through, and actually, this was the second time I saw the same car, Black RS.
Nice.
Black RS looks really nice.
Yeah.
So I drove past it one time on Mickleham Road, but then another time in Tullamarine, was turning, and the guy didn't boot it, but it still looked good. It still looked good. I didn't hear it, but it looked good.
It looked good. Yeah, I saw one getting delivered. I saw one in nitrous blue getting delivered to a dealership in Epping.
I think that's the hero color of that car.
It is the hero color. God, it looked good. Like I've seen the pictures, but when you see it in person. Oh, it's
got the black accents with that color, black rims, black inserts. It looks really good.
Definitely. Awesome car. Look, we'll continue this. We're going to go to a break. We got a text on the text line before we go to the break. We'll read that out. Someone texted in Forza SH1T boxes. So thanks for that. And then Callum sends us a message in. How you going, Callum? No love for the Batmobile.
Oh, we forgot all the Batmobiles.
All of them. How can we forget them?
I mean, we've forgotten a lot of cars, but personally, Michael Keaton's Batmobile from the 1989 movie.
Definitely.
That was really cool. I mean, the Christian Bale Batmobile, the Tumbler.
Yeah.
That's a really cool car, but that's basically like a tank.
Yeah.
But the Michael Keaton one's like a sleek sort of missile on wheels. It's really cool.
Yeah. No, awesome. They just look epic as well. So I guess that's the whole Batman thing, just to look crazy. And look, we'll jump back into hot hatches before we get into our quiz. Adam's got a few more he wanted to talk about.
Yeah, my first car. Oh, well, what I wanted as my first car, I should say, was a Peugeot 306 GTI 6-speed 2-litre.
They went good.
Little car, such a small car, but that thing, I think it had 130 something kilowatt out of a little 2-litre French car. It's insane.
They went good, and
that's considering that car was released in the 90s.
Yeah,
mid to late 90s. It's a lot of power from a little car.
And with the hot hatches we had in Oz at the time, that was probably the hottest thing we had.
Yeah, I think that was the quickest little thing. But I mean, that was there to rival the TX3s at the time. But the TX3s didn't last that long.
Didn't last that long.
Yeah.
Well, on Peugeots, the original 205 GDI 1.9, because they came in 1.6 and 1.9. They're classified as as probably the greatest hot hatch. Right up there next to the original Golf GTI. And speaking of hot hatches, we can't forget the Golfs and GDIs and the Rs and the R32s.
You hear a lot about those cars, though. That's the problem. There's a lot of them around. They're becoming very affordable.
Tons of them around, and we like things that are different here on CarTorque. So saying those old Peugeots and they're pretty cool. But
something that's discontinued actually. The Sportivos, the Corolla
Sportivos, yeah. That had the car. That had an awesome engine. It actually had a lift system, so similar to VTEC.
That's a Celica engine.
That's right. It was a 1.8. They went good. They had 141 kilowatts or something. They were absolute animals back in their day. Yeah. It's a very famous engine, that one as well.
Yeah, the cars were kitted out pretty good. Leather, sunroof. I think they came pretty well kitted. So I don't think they were cheap. They weren't Toyota, but I mean, they still hold their value to today. But they're pretty cool cars. Reliable
as hell as well, because it's a Toyota, and they just don't go wrong. Toyotas, they're cracking little cars. One you might have forgotten about, the old Starlet Turbo. The Glanzer.
Yes. They're
cool little car.
Cool little cars. They're very small cars.
They are tiny.
They're small cars. What about a Seat Cordoba?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I do remember them. You don't see many of them around.
No.
Our teacher used to have one.
Woodwork teacher.
Woodwork teacher, that's right. Yeah, he had one of those. He said they went good. But what about the Lancia Delta Integrale?
I have no clue about them.
They were around the same time as the Escort RS Cosworth. Real cool car. Basically, that got Lancia over the line to still hold the main, I think the most rally constructed titles of any car maker. Really, really cool. It's a box on wheels, but it's ugly, but it's lovable at the same time. It's hard not to love those. What about a Civic Type R? Especially for me, the EK9, the early ones, the first one.
They make surprising amounts of power out of such small little engines, man.
The B16, though, I think it was 1.6 litre, 136 kilowatts, man.
I think they rev out to, what, 10 grand?
Yeah, at a 1600 cc's. It's insane.
It's a little whippersnipper, really.
They are, but they go good. Ugh. They weigh nothing because they're all stripped out, and they went really good.
Guys, we're forgetting a really important hot hatch.
All right, tell us.
Dacia Sandero.
The Dacia Sandero.
The most important of hot hatches.
And where's that from?
It's from Romania.
Romania.
Wow.
The Dacia Sandero is James May's favourite car. Good news, everybody.
It's classed as a super mini.
Super mini.
I didn't know that's the thing, but apparently that's what it's called.
And what engine does that super mini over there have?
They came with a few. They came with a 1600. They came, I think that like a 1.1 litre as well. Like
I think there's one Fiat, I believe, Auto Bianchi, I think.
The Auto Bianchi, they're cool.
Yeah, that's something I've heard a bit about.
The Fiat 500 at Bath.
Yeah. The old school ones
as well. Yeah, they were cool. Even the original Mini Cooper S, as we were talking about before, real cool cars. So give us a text anyway on 0447777989 if you've got any other last cars of hot hatches or even movie cars. We can still talk about those. But we'll actually move on to the quiz, which Adam will be taking today. What do you think, Adam? Are you nervous or?
Should be right.
Should be right. Well, we had our first quiz last week. James got 6 out of 10, which is a fair effort. But we'll see if you can beat him.
If you give me the answers.
If I give you the answers, which is not going to happen. I had the music. I had the music to set the scene last week, but I don't quite have it this week with me. So we'll just crack straight into it. All right. So question 1. I did do that.
Well, I can see through your sheet there, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm going to put the sheet down then. Question 1. Turbochargers use what form of measurement to rate pressure?
PSI.
Correct.
Ding.
Question 2. Which Mitsubishi Evo had a rally driver's name on it?
Evo 6?
Evo 6, that's correct. For extra points, question 3. What was that rally driver's name?
Oh, Tommy something, right? No, Colin McRae.
No.
Oh, I don't know then.
You got it half right. I'll give you half the point.
Tommy something.
Tommy Mackinnon.
Oh, yeah, something along those lines.
Question 4. Ford Laser TXU Turbo all-wheel drive, the early one, the KE, had what cool feature with the suspension?
Adjustable. Electronically adjustable.
Yeah, it could. That's right. Could raise and lower. Question 5. Nissan's Pulsar GTIR, which we didn't mention. That's another hot hatch. Anyway, we'll get back to the quiz. Its engine was mounted which way? North-south or east-west?
North-south or east-west? East-west.
Correct.
Come on, man.
Well, at least too easy for you.
Oh, it sounds like it.
True or false? Toyota Corolla Sportivo shared its engine with the Lotus Elise.
As far as I know, it shared it with the Celica, but no, I don't think it shared it with the Elise.
It did share it with the Elise.
Oh, there you go.
Question 7. What record did the S2000 hold until it was beaten by the Ferrari 458?
S2000?
Mm-hmm. Honda S2000.
What record did it hold?
Mm-hmm. It held it for many years, actually.
The quickest naturally aspirated. Straight 6, I believe.
They're not a straight 6.
You know what I mean. Inline 6. You know what I mean? Is it something along those lines?
The F20C, which is the engine, held the record for producing the highest specific output per any mass of production, for per litre of any naturally aspirated engine.
It's close.
Close,
but
no cigar. Question 8. Ford released the final Falcon earlier a couple of years ago. But this year they released 2 specific models to end the XR nameplate. What were they?
Sprints.
Sprints, yeah. Were they for just...
Okay, yeah, so Sprint, XR8 Sprints,
Yep.
XR6 Sprints.
That's correct.
Do I get extra points if I know what the engines are now? Okay.
Question 9. What is the main difference between the 1JZ and 2JZ?
Why did you have to do that to me? What's the main difference between the 1 and 2? I don't know this one. I should know this because I love 2JZs, but I don't know.
Don't know that one? Main difference is the 1J is a 2.5 litre and the 2J is a 3 litre.
Oh, I should have known that one.
Question 10. BMW's M5 had how many cylinders? It's original M5.
V10.
The original M5 from the 80s had how many cylinders?
If it's not a 10, it's an 8, but I'm sticking with 10.
6.
Oh.
So let's see how many you got. So you got 1. Let's go through it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half.
Oh.
So you beat Jay's just 6.5.
He's going to fight that, I know. He's going to fight that.
He's going to call hacks and he's going to say, I want to dispute, I want to recall.
Yeah, no half points, he's going to say.
Look, you did say the name half right, so I will give you that.
Hey, but I got double the amount of, not exactly double, but I got a few more cylinders than necessary on that Beamer, so do I get a few extra bonus points there?
As much as I'd love to give it to you, Adam, I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, that's a good effort. 6.5. There were some tough questions in there. But yeah, GTIR, as I was saying, we forgot to mention in the hot hatchback segment, which is, that's a mini Godzilla. They were awesome back in the day, all-wheel drive, famous SR20 engine, of course.
Came in the Triple S too.
Triple S is another one.
Triple S, but yeah, they'll
Triple S was a rapid, man.
My brother had one of them. Yeah, pretty cool cars.
They went very good. And during the last song, James was telling me about a movie car that we all forgot about, which was was it Fast 5? I think it was.
The Escort.
Was it Fast 5 or Fast 6?
It was.
Anyway,
it was Fast 6.
Yeah, Fast 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remembered it because I really liked it. It was the 1970 Ford Escort
Mark 1
from the end of Fast 6 when they're on the highway being chased by a tank or something.
Yeah,
it's just a really cool car. Just the color. It's like this really cool blue and it had the fog lamps on the front.
The rally lamps.
Yeah, rally lamps, and had a roll cage. It was a really cool car, and they did a really great stunts with it. And I think, it's just popped into my head as a really, really nice car.
Yeah, it looks good, and it was a fitting tribute to Brian or Paul Walker.
I think Paul Walker took the car home after that. I think he bought the car.
Yeah.
He liked it so much. If I remember that correctly, I'm not sure.
And look, speaking about Paul Walker, he had tons of cars. He loved his cars.
Yeah,
I know
huge car
guy. He did. I think he did. You're right. He did end up buying that Escort, but he had Supras, he had GDRs, he had Mustangs, he had everything.
Is that right? That the last Supra from the last movie,
5.7, yeah, that's his car. That's his personal Supra, which is a fitting tribute to him. That it was the white Supra we're talking about. Yeah. It was the clean with the BBS wheels. I did a bit of research into that one. They came with the single turbo conversion and
factory.
No, he did it all himself. But it was a real. Anyway, boys, I'd like to thank you guys for coming on. So Adam and James, obviously, thank you guys, for spending the last hour with me, and thanks to all my listeners as well for listening in, sending those texts in. Thanks to Adam and to Rob. I found out who it was. Thanks, Rob, for that. Forwards of crap. But yeah, did you enjoy yourself, boys?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No worries. I have to have you guys on again. But we'll have to talk about more car topics. Anyway, I was going to say stay tuned, but Stratos isn't coming in for his show tonight. He won't be here for the next couple of weeks. He will be back though. He's got other things on. But we still have some shows afterwards. So pay attention to 98.9 Northwest FM. Don't change that dial. I will see you next week. You're listening to Car Talk with Matty J.